All right, cool. So thank you so much for sharing, Chokai. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit more about, because you're on channel several different masters. I think we counted 9 before we started the video today. Um, can you tell us a little bit more about your purpose, your style, your teaching style, and what you're about in that arena, and
Hmm.
why? Yeah, why you do this?
Yeah. Okay.
Because you could be happy in your transcendent realm and not mess with us. So share some more, please.
I could, but I don't know. Maybe I couldn't. Well, bliss is bliss, joy is joy, peace is peace, love is love. And, I will never tire of discovering more refined levels of love to experience. And that's basically what it's like for me because, you know, people have asked us before time, and it's like, is there ever an end to this stuff? And it's like, well, there's no end to evolution. There's just an end to resistance to evolution. And that's really all you're dealing with here is just resistance. But most of that resistance is based on misunderstanding. And so once you understand, no more resistance. Okay. But, that is, as they say, maybe easier said than done. And the point is to see things as they are, see yourself as you are, and then it definitely does become easier to evolve. And, I'm here because of all the many beautiful things that were shared with me and how meaningful it was. Because when I started my journey in my last lifetime in the Pleiades, I was very much a lost soul, as it were. Okay. And I lived in a society that was, you know, very much akin to your George Orwell's 1984 book. And it was, it was very much a slave of that that context, that world. That wasn't the whole world; it was only about half of it. Um, but it was a very extraordinarily bland and empty existence. And when I was finally able to liberate myself from that, I found a new community, a new context, if you will, where the rules were very different. And when I first got there, one of the first things I was told is, we basically have just 2 rules: do your joy and don't do anything that's not your joy. And I was like, okay, I don't even know what to do with that. Um, because what is joy? You know, what is peace? What is contentment? I had no idea. But I began to learn, and I met a mentor who was delighted to teach me. And he understood that I didn't understand, and he could see through all of my stuff that I didn't even know I had. And he would speak to things that might have been 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 levels deep. And I'm looking at things one way, and he's seen it an entirely different way. But everything that he shared with me was absolutely appropriate. And when I listened and when I followed his suggestions, things seemed to just miraculously transform. And I know it wasn't a miracle. It was merely he was offering me shortcuts that I didn't even understand existed at the time. It couldn't have from my current reference point then, but he understood. And, when he would suggest things like, what does the stone say to you, Chokai? What does the tree say to you, Chokai? What does the flower say to you? And I'm going, flowers don't talk. So how are we going to do this? But he goes, well, how do you know? Have you ever talked to one? And I had to admit that, no, I have not. And he goes, well, why don't you? And see what happens. And, it was those crazy suggestions like that that were very sneaky in their ability to awaken something truly extraordinary and truly authentic. And so it's after I ascended from that world and that life, um, after quite a long time of working with him, but it was a beautiful time. Um, it's like I want to be able to pass on what was so patiently and lovingly and wisely shared with me. And so, this is not the only world where I teach and share. There are many where I go to, and um, people show up from light years around, and we have a grand old time. Um, but it's because part of the reason I'm here is because the way this world is right now, the energies and the attitudes, it's so like what my world was like before I went from what I call the old school to the new school and began to genuinely consciously awaken. And so there's a lot of resonance. The experiences that I had and the understandings I gained are very much in resonance with what is happening in this world and what can be useful to beings in this world. And, for those who are part of that conclave, who are here, just our presence is a reminder. It touches places in your heart, in your aura, that are like, oh yeah, it's like I'm tickling your DNA, so to speak, that has these deeper levels of wisdom and understanding, those memories of those higher dimensions that are absolutely a part of who you are. You're not these minuscule beings, you're advanced masters who, in some respects and to some degree, or maybe a great degree, have simply forgotten that. And so it's not like we're imparting any grand and glorious new thing. We're really just reminding you of who you really are, okay? By our example, by the way we share, and by what we share, and by loving attention, okay? Because so few people in this world get genuinely, unconditionally loving attention from anyone, okay? And so that's something we can offer that you can't get on this planet, really, at least not to any great degree. And so, we offer that, and that helps to, tickle your funny bone, as they say, but more accurately to tickle your joy bone and your spiritual awakening bone and your aspiration to evolve bone. And pretty soon you're singing a completely different tune from the inside out. Okay. And we love watching beings evolve. And actually, it's quite a delight to reminisce, and I quite often wax nostalgic when I'm interacting with beings here, because you so remind me of where I was in my last lifetime, and to see not only your struggles, but to see that your grandeur is blossoming, and to witness that blossoming of your grandeur, okay? And to know that there's this grand and glorious divine mechanism at play, and to witness God, if you will, or source, or the divine unfolding in all its magnificence, it's quite an honor. Okay. And so for all those reasons, we are here to share, to interact, and have fun. Okay. Because what's the point? If we're not having a little bit of fun, then what's the point? Okay. And so if I can remind you that fun is part of the package too, then so be it. Okay.
Indeed. We like to laugh a lot, folks, and we hope that you get more and more lighthearted on your journey. And so a lot of what we share is to help you with that.